more of a reaction to that than when the babysitter was killed.
Yeah, you know what though? I really like Julie though. I think
Yeah, yeah,
she was refreshing because she was just, ride or die with Heather. Like she got their backs. I kind of dug that about her. And her death, I mean, it was obvious playback to one, but I like that they showed the entity, or we just call him Freddy as opposed, because technically, I'm just gonna call him Freddy. So
yeah.
I like
that. Yeah,
I like that they showed Freddy dragging her around. I don't know why her neck was snapped, but because that'd be really hard to snap someone's neck with blade fingers. I mean, I've never snapped a neck and I've never had blade fingers, but it seems like a tough thing to do. Unless he did it with magic.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like they should have just eviscerated her, and then I mean, they did, but a little bit more.
Just blow up the room, like blood everywhere.
Just whoosh. It's like how much blood came out of the bed in the first one? That's a question we should figure out.
Sprays all over Dr. Hefner. So she explodes just as the door's coming in, and Dr. Hefner just gets bombed with blood.
Yeah. So a question I have for you, I think this is important for this podcast because it's so this movie's so different from the other ones. It's like, what do you think of the Entity / Freddy's new look?
I hate the leather pants.
The leather pants, yeah, they're bad.
I'm like, why is he wearing leather pants?
I don't know. He looks so new metal.
Yeah. I did not like that one bit. And I was just watching The Quick and the Dead. I'm gonna be talking about that on the for an epic
gosh. I haven't seen that in 20 years.
And Sharon Stone has some of the most 90s sunglasses I've ever seen in my life. But no, yeah, okay. I love when he comes out of the closet, right? I love when he rips out of the sheets. I think I like the kind of, his face isn't burnt. It's more kind of torn. I love that. And I love when Freddy comes out of the closet. I think there's fear with that, and I think this one's meaner for sure. But he just wears leather pants and gets defeated very easily. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with leather pants. I just don't know why Freddy's wearing leather pants.
Yeah. So to piggyback on that, I like the way he looks. Actually, I know a lot of people don't. I do think he looks really terrifying.
Yeah.
The techno-organic glove, I like the concept. I don't really like the glove. I like the idea of it being like the glove morphing into his hand or his hand growing over it and it just becoming part of him. Not like sort of like robotic, I guess. It was it robotic? I guess it was sort of robotic.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then I don't like the color, the bright color of his suit though. Like he has like bright green and bright red, and for me it was too cartoonish. Like if you're going to have this like entity of being like ancient, I guess don't even know, a couple millennia old, I wouldn't expect it to have like neon red and neon green stripes.
All right, so okay, you're a demon. You've been living in. You have to go down water slides to get to your house. You've probably been down there for a very ancient, like long time. In the last 10 years, you've sort of become famous, right? Yeah. You went from just being this ancient demon who terrorizes people to being famous. Like millions of people adore you. So maybe that got to his brain. Maybe he started wanting to look fancier. Maybe he wanted to look like a rock star. He's like, I've never been a rock star. People have been scared of me. Now they love me. I'm gonna wear leather pants and a trench coat. I'm gonna look awesome, right?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I do. I absolutely do, but it doesn't scare me.
No, not scary at all. But I think that sums up our new Freddy, though, our entity. He just became a rock star, and so he started dressing like one.
Yeah. Are you saying that he should have theoretically worn like a swimsuit if he has to go to and from his house on a water slide?
100%.
I think so too.
How? Yeah, he takes a slide. He slides down there.
But how does he climb up? Does he climb up the slide?
Oof. Maybe it's like a cannon and it just shoots him up it. Like they get up pretty easily because don't they go through the fountain at the end and they get there. But they get wet too.
Yeah.
Maybe when you travel through evil portals, you just dry instantly because of the yada yada molecule.
The yada yada, the nightmare molecule?
Yeah, there it is. Oh. Listen, I love that he has a slide going into his pad. I think that's great. I would have liked to have seen more like very 90s stuff though in there. Big TV, watching Arsenio.
Wedge shoes.
Yeah, exactly. I think pumps were popular back then.
Parachute pants.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you got it. It's just like, oh.
They sneak into his lair and he's trying to recreate the dance from, You Can't Touch This.
That's actually terrifying.
I need to see this now. Okay, so you're right. I think he's terrifying for the first, when he pops out, when you first meet him, you know? But then once you get over that, he's not. But I do like the attempt at meanness because, I don't know, my favorite horror films are, I mean, I love Sam Raimi, so I can't really, I guess it's it's so comical. But I like movies like The House That Jack Built, or just the violence in it means something. Green Room. Does that make sense? So I feel like the violence in this meant a little something more, if that makes sense to you.
It does, specifically because you care about the characters, or the characters have like personality traits. I've been watching the last couple Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, because Halloween is coming up and I bought all of the movies for this podcast.
Oh, nice. Heck yeah.
It was like $16. I was like, I'm going to buy every movie, whatever. And they all come with commentaries and stuff. Okay. But a trend in these movies is that the characters no longer become interesting. They're just there to be killed, so they don't have three-dimensional lives. In this movie, they have like a three-dimensional life. You know, there's the mother who has a relationship with the father who is killed, with her son, has a mentor figure with the actor from the first movie. It feels more like the real people with real consequences. Like a movie, a death scene that I'm going to go back to, I think over and over again, whenever I talk about horror movies, is there's this death scene where I believe a woman is like kissed and just turns to dust. Or Freddy kisses her and like sucks her to dust. I think that's the fourth one. It could be the fifth one. And I remember watching those movies, and I'm just like, I don't care about these people. Yeah. Like I could just fast forward to all of the death scenes, and I'm done. Like I really don't have to pay any attention to the plot. Like we know he's gonna get killed at the end, and that's it. He's gonna go to the next one. But in this one, it feels like someone's dead. It feels like it's more hefty. It's more weighty. And it sort of feels that is like what Craven wanted. He wanted to make that connection of returning to actually scary things and caring about the characters instead of caring about the deaths.
Yeah, and if you look at the characters who do die, I mean, it's the two guys in the beginning, but that you learn that later. It's the dad and it's the babysitter. Mm-hmm. So the deaths actually have some gravity to, like they have a meaning to them, which I kind of dug. Now, I do want to say, in the beginning, when they're filming that scene with the arm and the blood, there's no way that that camera lens they have could be zoomed in that far. Those are insert shots that they're shooting. And when they yell cut, Wes Craven they're moving on a dolly towards that shot without that big of a I'm being a nerd because, I worked on all these sets. But just watching that scene, I'm like, I hate watching movies being made in movies, except for Bowfinger, because they didn't care. But that was bad. I just want to get that out there real quick. And also, I do love the scene where the guy is in his truck working. I have his name up here. I can get his name out here. When it's David Newsom, played by Chase, when he's on his truck working, because that's what film sets work like. Everyone just works out of trucks. So seeing that made me happy. And Wes Craven even said that was their set. And a lot of those people in the back were crew members. That's why they actually looked real. And I like that in the Never Sleep Again documentary, David Newsom's like, I do not look like a special effects guy. He's like, they all look like roadies with beards who like should be touring with the Rolling Stones. He's like, I'm the least. And that's true, man. You meet these special effects guys and they all just look like, they just got off a Harley after a 35-hour ride. And that's pretty much what I think about them. But yeah, so I just had to get that out there real quick, watching the movies getting made. I just had to say it.
Yeah, so I have a question for you here.
Yeah.
So do you think the Freddy monster entity is the devil or a devil?
I feel like this universe sets it up to be more than one. I felt like he was just one, to me, that just got caught. And I mean, he said that when he was making that speech, it's very old. It's existed in different forms in different times. I don't know. Murder of Innocence. I don't think it's powerful enough to be the creature. I guess he could be saying that, hey, that's a good point, man. I didn't even think about that. But I always just thought it was a creature, not the creature.
Yeah, I kind of think it's just a creature too. But what throws me off is that in the background there is when they're in his lair, on the background, there's like two caves, and it's like lust, and it had like some of the 7 deadly sins. And I was like, are they implying he's one of the 7 deadly sins, or just as ancient as him?
Because he kept slamming her into the lust sign. Who wrote that in English?
You wrote. That's a good point.
Right? He's
I
ancient.
mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, didn't Aquinas come up with the concept of this? No, I'm exaggerating. I've been doing research into the Seven Deadly Sins for a writing project. They're more recent than you think. Let's
Oh,
put it
okay.
that way.
And like, I mean, but you're right though. That, like, it was Babylonian architecture, and then they were talking about Dante's Inferno with the river.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, there's Virgil in Dante's
Mm-hmm.
Inferno, and that's also in the house that Jack built, randomly enough. But it's I don't know. I just never got that. That makes, man, I gotta chew on that now. Like, that's a good question, David. I'm gonna say no again for the fourth time.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to say no, but I would be happy if someone came to me with proof or with a theory and saying yes, he is that Nancy/Heather destroyed the devil in this film.
Would the real devil have a water slide?
No, I don't think so. But the real question is, would the devil have a monument to himself because that water slide comes out of Freddy's mouth, right?
Yeah. So
That's a yes, probably.
He had just created that in the last 10 years. He made that. Right?
That is one point in this film where I was like, well, I don't know if I like this. Like this is really ridiculous. Like you're welcome to my lair. I have a giant fountain of myself.
Well, he probably went to, in the 80s, he probably went to a Guns N' Roses concert. He saw Van Halen, and he just saw a giant mouth like that, or Kiss concert, and he just made one. Here he hired some, demons, and he made one in his lair.
Get to it. That doesn't look enough like me.
Because he made that in the last 10 years.
He had to have. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So he made himself a water slide that you got spit out. So he rode through that. Do you think he found pleasure in that?
I bet. I mean, you wouldn't keep it there unless you did, because we're assuming that he has the ability to bring contractors in to change up his lair, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he could at any point just added stairs, but he chose to have a water slide.
Steel grates. Someone had to do the fountain tree in there.
Yeah. And maybe Freddy's a master architect, and we just are the entity, and we were never given that side of him.
How deep do you have to get in the Earth's core until water is no longer an issue there? Does that make sense? Because I know in Dante's Inferno, they're walking through various river Styx, and they're kind of going through all this sort of stuff. How deep do you have to get to still have all that water for your fountain, which needs irrigation and like plumbing? Is there PVC pipes?
That's everywhere. Just a ton of PVC pipes right off screen, and you just never get to see. That's a great point. Like, where is the water coming from?
You have lust in English, you have a big Freddy mouth, and then you have your plumbing.
Just shake it a little bit. It'll stop running.
So do you think he kidnaps? Because he can take people down there. Do you think he kidnaps people and then makes them do work?
I mean, that's a nightmare, right? Yeah, of course. If he's all about spreading nightmares, that's one way to do it.
1 second you're working on a fountain at a new neighborhood, and the next you're in a old, Babylonian castle, and you're making stuff for a deal. What would he look like? So he takes the form of whatever captures him, correct?
I think so. I was kind of unclear about that, but that's what I think's going on, is that he was trapped in the movie and he's decided to keep that form because he likes it.
Now, do you think maybe Bram Stoker's Dracula could have taken that form? Do you think that was good enough? Because Wes Craven saying that Nightmare on Elm Street was so good that he captured an ancient demon, like presence. What other works of I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre maybe could have done that.
I'm
Psycho.
sorry, I'm laughing because I just realized that what a humble brag that is.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I write so well that I caught the devil.
He was probably Anthony Perkins for a while, right? Norman Bates. And then I think he probably became Leatherface for a little while. Leatherface, but then man, do you think he likes it when he gets captured and then he sees all the bad sequels?
He has to, because he knows that his time there is finite. Like, when there are not good sequels, when there are good sequels, he's like, well, I'm going to be here longer now. So I don't know, like...
Wait, has he been trapped in there since Nightmare on Elm Street? So he hasn't been able to leave? Now he's able to leave?
Yeah, that's what I got, because the entire point is that the first one was so scary that he trapped him, and the subsequent films have warped the initial idea of the character to make him a buffoon, to make him more of pity, and people are no longer scared of him. And because people are no longer scared of him, he can start to escape.
And so he started doing that when after the last one, which was what, 6? Yeah, 6.
Freddy's Dead.
Yeah, Freddy's Dead.
With Tom Arnold and Roseanne.
So did he? So in that year, then he must have done all the changes to his place because he